Hi, everybody. My name is Jen Moore. I'm an adult services librarian at the Warrenville Public Library District, and today I'm going to show you some tools and strategies for organizing your digital photo collection. First, I'll talk about some basic principles for organizing your photos so you can get started on the right foot, and then I'll show you some tools. If you have any questions after this video or you want some help getting started on the process, you can email us at adultservices@warrenville.com and we'll see what we can do to help you get started. So to start out, like any organizing project, the first step is to figure out what you already have. If you've mostly taken photos on one device or using the same account on multiple devices, then this isn't too hard. But if you've used a phone and an iPad and a Kindle and a digital camera a few years ago, and you've got some old print photos before that maybe you've scanned or maybe you haven't, that can make it a lot harder. The first thing you want to do is find all of your photo stashes and try to figure out roughly how many photos you have or how much space they'll take up. This is hard to estimate, but at a rough guess, an original uncompressed photo on an average modern phone camera is about 44 megabytes, which means that 23 photos will need about a gigabyte of storage. Your numbers will be different than that. It depends a lot on your settings and on your camera, but if you're trying to guess how much storage you'll need, that's not a bad place to start. The next thing you'll want to do is figure out how you want to organize your pictures. And how you organize them depends a lot on what you want to use them for. Are you the family genealogist? Then you'll probably want to organize things by people, since you're more likely to be looking for Aunt Kathy than for pictures from 2005. If you're an artist, you might want to organize your photos by subject, particular kinds of art or particular themes if you take photography as art. If you can't think of any other way to do it, organizing by date makes a lot of sense. For most of us who are just taking casual snapshots and vacation photos, organizing by date works because we usually have a vague idea of when certain things happened, or at least we can go forward and back from a specific time. It is also the default way that most systems organize things, so that definitely makes it an easy place to get started. But just because you pick one method of organization as your primary method, that doesn't mean you can't add more information to make it easier to find. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do a little bit later. Now that you've found everything and you know what you're going to do with it, you want to get everything in the same place. Even if you use your phone to take all your photos, I recommend doing this part on a computer. It's much easier to add information on a physical keyboard than it is to use your tiny little phone keyboard to type things in. And also, storing photos on your computer is a much safer long-term storage option. After all, your computer isn't going to fall out of your pocket. If you're not familiar with how to transfer your photos, there are a few different ways to do this. The easiest way is to go ahead and set up your cloud account on whatever device you have. On an Android device, this is going to be Google Photos. It should be installed by default on your phone. In fact, it's probably already sending your photos to the cloud, even though you haven't noticed yet. The other way to do it is to physically plug your phone into the computer and move the files from your phone the same way you would move them from a digital camera. So the same process goes for a digital camera. If you've never done this before, what you need to know is you may need to change the way your phone connects to the computer. So once you have it plugged in, on an Android, you'll swipe down from the top to open up that top menu, and you'll select that Android System File Transfer option. If you tap on that, it will give you your USB preferences and ask you how you want to connect. By default, mine sets to no data transfer, just charging the phone. You want to change it to file transfer so that the phone is communicating with the computer and you can actually move files from one to the other. If you are using Google Photos on your phone or other Android device, the easiest way to back up your photos to your computer is to just download them from Google. But you don't do that through Photos, you actually do it through your account. To get to your account, you click up here in Google Apps in this little grid button wherever you're logged into Google and click on Account. From there, you'll come here to the Data and Personalization page and scroll down here to where it says Download Your Data. You can also get here directly by just going to takeout.google.com. Now, here it will let you select what data to include. It's pulling from your entire Google account, which is a lot of information. If you want to get what you're looking for faster, the best thing to do is just select the bits that you need. So I'm going to deselect everything and just scroll down here to Google Photos. Click that checkbox. It will let you select if you want all of your photos or if you just want a subsection of them. Since I haven't done this before, I'm going to go ahead and download everything. Maybe in the future I can download just parts of it. Scroll all the way down to the bottom to Next Step. It will send you your photos in a number of different ways. You can add it to your Google Drive account, to Dropbox, to other cloud accounts. I find the easiest way is to get that download link through your email, so it will just send you an email when it's ready. You can also have Google automatically send you the same export every 2 months, and that'll repeat for up to a year, which is a really convenient thing because then you don't have to remember 2 months from now, oh yeah, I took a bunch more photos and I need to save them. So I'm going to select export every 2 months for 1 year. File type, it's a zip file that just compresses everything and wraps it up in a package together. And then the file size. So obviously the more photos you have, the bigger the files are that they're going to send you. But because if you have a bad internet connection, it can take a long time to download a really big file. It will split it up into smaller files for you to download, which means if I select 2 gigabytes and I have 10 gigabytes of photos, it will send me 5 different files. So I go ahead and click Create Export, and then it will schedule it for me. So you can see it says Export 1 of 6 will start on August 19th, which is today. I can go ahead and create another one from here, or I can just sit and wait. It will send me that email as soon as my photos are ready. For print photos, you have a few options. You can scan the photos themselves if that's all you have. You want to scan them at the highest resolution possible. Whatever kind of scanner you're working with will let you set options for resolution. 300 pixels is perfectly fine if you're going to print things, but if you're going to save them as a digital file, just pick the highest resolution it will let you use. Another better option, if you still have the negatives, is to scan the pictures from the negatives. You can get an even better resolution off of negatives than off of print photos usually. And when your photos were developed, the Photo Lab did a little retouching of the negatives. If you scan the negatives, you can start over from scratch, and sometimes you can do a better job than they did, especially if it was a cheap 1-hour Photo Lab 40 years ago. If you don't have a scanner yourself that will scan photo negatives, here at the Warrenville Library, we have a couple of slide scanners, Wolverine slide scanners that you can check out and take home with you. This is actually how I scanned all my photos from high school and college. So I now have those in digital format on my computer, and I don't have to carry around this box full of print photographs that I never looked at before. If you're not able to scan your print photos right now, don't worry about it. Keep them with you while you're doing the rest of the organization so that you can make sure that they're incorporated into your system. You don't have to try to figure it out again later when you finally do get those photos scanned. All right, now we have everything in the same place. We know what we have and how we want to organize it. It's time to dig into the actual photos themselves. Tomorrow, I will upload a video that shows you how to use Google Photos and Adobe Bridge to add metadata to your photos to make them easier to find and share so you can enjoy your pictures instead of being overwhelmed by them. Thanks, and be sure to check out our website, warrenville.com, for more online events and information on the library's grab and go and curbside services to check out materials. Have a great rest of your day.